Costco knew I needed to level up my meal prep game. I spotted the MIU Silicone Trays with lid set right after they hit Costco's shelves. I shared this Costco find on my socials, and I was shocked by how many of you asked for a full product review. Clearly, I'm not the only one looking to take my freezer meals to the next level. If you love meal prep, freezer meals, batch cooking, or saving your future self time, this review is for you. There's a lot packed into the box. Immediately, I was a big fan of the tray stackability. This 5-pack set of MIU Silicone Freezer Trays was only $25 in store. That's $5 per tray and lid, or $2.50 per piece if you really want to break the cost down even further. There are two 2-cup trays, two 1-cup trays, and one 1/2-cup tray. Each tray has a halfway fill line too, so the trays can be used for 1 cup, 1/2 cup, or 1/4 cup fills respectively. And for anyone who prefers metric unit measurements, these silicone molds have those fill lines too. I bought both color options, green and gray. Each tray has flexible silicone wells, a rigid frame on the top, and a stiff lid, meaning they are meant for the full cycle of meal prep. Freeze it, store it, pop it out just as you need it, and reheat it. Sounds great in theory, so I put these to the test to see if they were actually worth adding to cart. MIU says these freezer trays are 100% pure platinum food-grade silicone and can go into the freezer, dishwasher, microwave, and oven. My main interest in these silicone trays is the freezing aspect, so the microwave and oven capabilities are somewhat like bonus features. I wanted to see if these freezer trays actually delivered, so I put them through a 5-part stress test. Test number 1, dishwasher. If it can't go in the dishwasher, I typically don't want it in my kitchen. So after unboxing, the trays and lids went straight into the dishwasher on the top shelf. I've done a lot of meal prepping since buying these silicone trays, so I was pleased that these trays seem to be holding up after numerous dishwasher cycles. They came out clean, held their shape, and they didn't collect a soapy taste. The lids washed well too. Test number 2, pinch test. It's not foolproof, but I was relieved to see that the silicone stayed the same color and didn't show signs of whitening while being pinched and twisted. Test number 3, oven. This is a bonus function in my opinion, and it's a toss-up for which option I would use less, microwave or oven. I'm here for the freezer function. However, you asked to see how these work in real life, so I whipped up a few batches of my mom's delicious banana bread. These could be helpful with portion control, but I still had to chuckle because one slice of banana bread was 1/4 of a loaf. The half loaf was kind of a nice idea though if the goal is smaller loaves, aka keep one out to eat and freeze the other one for freshness. MIU says these trays are oven safe for up to 446 degrees Fahrenheit, but not the lids. They say the lids are not oven safe. The recipe I was using called for the oven to be set at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I baked multiple batches of banana bread using the same trays with washes in between to test durability. The first bake did put off a mild silicone smell when I walked past the oven, but the subsequent bakes didn't have any odor. I haven't baked in a new silicone tray since around 2016, so I don't recall if it's normal for the initial bake to have a smell. Baking in silicone isn't my preference, but it's good to know that these pans didn't melt into a puddle in my oven. For stress testing purposes, I applied pressure, trying to twist the trays frames both before and after using the trays. It feels like the rigidity at the top of the tray comes from some sort of metal or ceramic. The frame on the tray that went to the oven the most did break in one of the handles, but I'm guessing that was because the frame was still warm after being in the oven when the pressure was applied. As easily as food pops out of these trays when frozen or baked, there shouldn't be a need to twist the frame. The tray with the break is still usable, but know that there is a breaking point. Test 4, microwave. The other bonus function that I likely won't use again is the ability to microwave these trays. MIU doesn't state whether the trays and the lids are both able to go into the microwave, so I opted for taking the lid off. For testing purposes, I reheated the 1/2 cup tray in the microwave, taking it directly from the freezer. I didn't want to waste food for this test, so I filled up the tray with water. I checked the ice in trays every few minutes. The ice took about 5 minutes to go from solid to liquid form, and the silicone tray wasn't hot to touch. I'd rather have my freezer trays accessible for whenever I want to batch freeze, so I don't plan on leaving these trays in the freezer for storage and reheating in the tray. However, I get that everyone has a different method, so here again, it was helpful to confirm that these trays didn't melt in my microwave. Test 5, freezer. The whole reason these silicone trays piqued my interest: frozen meals and meal components. I loaded these trays with liquids and foods ready for the freezer. Orange juice, shredded chicken, roasted squash, and even my take on a low-inflammatory squash soup. Even though the silicone is pliable, these trays held up pretty well with unfrozen liquids and solids. There was some slight side bulge, but it was minimal, and the trays were still pretty easy to handle and stack when filled. The lids fit snugly onto the trays and gave them a little extra stability too. The frozen food and drinks popped out of the molds so easily. I simply pushed on the individual pod. I didn't need to twist or turn the frame like an ice cube tray. After removing frozen food, I could smell food scents. I was nervous that these silicone trays would hold on to smells. However, after another run through the dishwasher, I couldn't detect any lingering food smells. I was rapidly batch cooking for this review, so I didn't leave the trays in the freezer for days on end. It was a helpful realization. Meal prepping, then removing the contents soon after it's frozen, helps reduce the chance of the silicone trapping the infamous freezer smell. These MIU freezer trays can be used for freezer meals, component batching, reducing leftover food waste, smoothie starters, single serving portions, the list goes on and on. I do a lot of freezer meals, both cooked and uncooked, single serving and family style whole meals. However, up until this point, most of my meal prepping has been in freezer bags or ice cube trays. That has worked, sort of, but freezer trays are taking my meal prep to the next level. Now let's hit the main pros and cons. Pros: affordable 5-pack set with multiple sizes to choose from within the set. Leveled up my meal prepping, freezer meals, and batch cooking. Frozen and baked portions popped out easily. Trays stacked and stored neatly in the freezer and the cabinet. Rigid frame top helped prevent spills. Cons: fill lines, especially on the 1 cup and the half-cup trays, are right next to the top of the trays, which doesn't leave room for liquids expanding if wanting to fill to the exact fill line. Silicone pods sometimes had a little side bulge flex. Lids weren't the easiest to open since there is only a small tab that sticks out. Lids don't have a stacking feature, so they may end up as free floaters in the cabinet when not in use. Overall, the pros outweigh the cons in my opinion. A great 4-star Costco find that I'm excited to continue using in my freezer meal prep. Next, I think I need a vacuum seal machine. Costco and Sam's Club both have different food saver models. Let me know if you want me to do a product review for either of those. Did you find this product review helpful? If so, let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe for more Hot Club finds.